What's going on, comic fam? It's your boy, the Bearded Comic Bro, and it's time for another haul video. That's right, gang, so stick around and see what I picked up at GalaxyCon Columbus. I hadn't been to a con in a long time, so it was fun to get back to a con. And I say a long time, it's been like 4 months. But it was so good. It was great to have a big con back in Columbus. It felt right. And gang, we took the family. Grandma came for her first Comic-Con ever. She got to meet Richard Dreyfuss, had a blast. It was really fun getting to be there with the family. And then I made the family leave so I could go hunting. And holy buckets did I get some goodies. So with that being said, let's see what I got. Up first, gang, I saw this, the Penguin 1966 pop. $5. Are you kidding me? I could not pass that up. Holy buckets, so great. Burgess Meredith. You gotta love the 66 series. But this pop was the only thing I bought that wasn't comic book related. I got a lot of key books. I got some signed books by a lot of awesome creators. I picked up a couple indie books to support the indie community. And I got some slabs. And I'm excited to show you what I picked up. Up first, this is one of the few I didn't have in my Batman Volume 2. I think I have one more issue left. But this is Batman issue number 21. This is a first appearance of Duke Thomas. Really excited that I got this issue. Super cheap. I was like, let's go. Are you kidding me? And let's be honest, you know I'm always hunting for Batman books when I'm at a con. And surprisingly, I didn't get anything in the Batman Volume 1 that I'm looking for. Picked up this one, Volume 2, and then I picked up this bad boy. This is Detective Comics 647. This is from the Volume 1 of Detective Comics. But this is a first spoiler, Stephanie Brown. Again, another comic that I really needed. Man, I was super excited to get that. I got some more key books. I got some other books that I picked up. But gang, I went down to Artist Alley, met some of the indie creators. This is by Jay Callaghan, and I know I'm butchering your name, Jay. And Jay, we talked about you're going to come on the show. We're going to talk about your comic and other things that you're doing. So you can correct me on how to say your name then. But this is Messed by Jay. And it's a metropolitan sewer district. And we got our female protagonist. And she's dealing with some stuff that's going on in the sewers. And it's kind of like these tremor-like creatures. Really cool. Excited to read this. He threw in a poster. He threw in another issue of Messed. Really cool. Had a blast talking with Jay at another con. Look forward to having him on the show sometime. You know, I had to hook up with my friend Victor Danridge, who wrote Wonder Care, Kindergarteners. Had him on the show, talked about Trouble with Love. One of my first few interviews ever, so this was like 2 years ago. Holy buckets, I'm old now on YouTube. But it was good running into Victor, talking about just, you know, comics and things, and he has those create your own comics. My daughter made one, and it's awesome. It sits on my shelf over there. You can see it whenever I do interviews and stuff. It's really cool. Now, gang, I stepped out of my wheelhouse a little bit, okay? And do me a favor, nobody tell John, but I picked up some X-Men books. Ooh. I picked up all 4 of the first issue of the X-Men run from the 90s. I know everyone, the big joke is, oh, you get one of these in every mystery box, and I don't care. I didn't have them. As much as I dog on X-Men a lot, just because it's fun to poke fun at my homie John's Comics with Kids, and if you haven't followed him, check out his stuff. Really cool content. But I actually really enjoy X-Men. I just don't know a lot about it, of the new stuff. I read a lot of the 90s stuff as a kid and watched the 90s cartoon show. So when I saw the deal they had for them, I was like, I got to get them. Gang, Batman vs. Spawn. This is the War Game. So there's 2 Batman Spawn issues. I have the other one. I have this one already too. But again, this was like cheaper than cover price. I had to pick it up. I might give it away sometime. Just, you know, as people. But everyone's excited about Batman Spawn coming back with Todd McFarlane, Greg Capullo. Come on, Greg Capullo. So I saw it. I was like, let's go. This comic, man, I'm glad to have it. And obviously, saddened with everything that happened with the news of Jason David Frank last couple weeks ago. But this is the first appearance of Tommy Oliver, the Green Ranger, in comic book. And I saw it on a back wall, and it was super affordable. It's not a really expensive comic anyways. But for whatever reason, I didn't have this in my collection. And I was like, I gotta have it. Just as a kid growing up with Power Rangers, really cool to have that in there in the collection. And it was very somber because Jason was supposed to be at this con, and so it was cool to get to pick up this issue that I haven't had. And it wasn't price gouged, and I respect the dealers for what they were doing. I think people are trying to find books like this because of the passing and things, and it was really cool to see dealers not jumping over and over increasing that stuff because of tragedy. And so I'm happy to have this in my collection. If you're a kid of the 90s, you grew up watching Power Rangers, especially, and you're reading comics, come on, man, this is so good. So really cool to have this in the collection now. I think that's it for the Raw books. I know I got a couple slabs here that I'm going to show you, but I went down to Artist Alley and got to hang out with a bunch of cool creators. Tate Brombaugh, The Whole Behemoth issue number 1. I actually left my copy at home, but he had some at the table, so I bought one at cover price, signed it for me. Really cool. He also signed my House of Slaughter issue number 1. Let's go. Look at that. Hopefully I'll have Tate on the show sometime, and we can talk more about House of Slaughter and that. Really cool. This is one that I was super excited about. Raphael Albuquerque, again, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, but who's doing the new run with Ron V on Detective Comics. I got my first issue of that run signed by Raphael. But gang, if you've been following my con videos, my gem in my collection is my Batman issue number 50, signed by Greg Capullo, Tom King, Becky Cloonan signed it, David Finch has signed it, Mitch Gerards has signed it, Neil Adams has signed it. And then I now have Raphael Albuquerque. So I'm trying to go around to all the creators who are involved in that issue, getting them to sign this. This has become more and more, as I go to cons, one of my favorite pieces in my collection. To have some talented writers and artists on this book sign it. I just can't wait to continue to build up on this comic because it is a fun cover to have. And this is something that you all have seen me been doing too. I've been doing a lot of these 80th anniversary issues, getting all the creative teams to sign it. So we got Steve Orlando's on there, Amy Reeder, Stephanie Phillips, Doc Evan Shaner, Becky Cloonan I think is on here as well. Tom King is on here. And then I just got Michael Cloonan added to the list. This is a really cool Wonder Woman cover. Love having it. Love having all these awesome creators all on one book. These are becoming more and more special for my con collections that just have great names all in one place. It makes for a really cool book to display. Gang, I sense it. Y'all are peeking. So we're just turning stuff down. We're putting things down. And you're no more peeking because I don't want to spoil. I don't want to spoil what we got here. This one, Kyle Higgins signed my Radiant Black issue number 1. Man, Kyle was a delight to talk with. Just conversing with my girls who were at the con with me and talking with them a lot and asking them about their favorite superhero and just investing in the kids. It's so cool when a creator takes time to do that. And then he even took one of his merch he had pins that he was selling these pins for $15 for a pack of 2. And he's like, hey, you girls need some Radiant Black pins, and just opened up the pack right there, gave these Radiant Black pins to my girls. They thought it was the coolest thing. I love when creators do that because they're giving back to the community, and that's how the community grows and builds, because it made their day that somebody just gave them something. They don't know what Kyle created and what he does, but it's really cool to see that. So, man, that's what I love about cons, getting to meet creators who care about the fans and the community. And talking about someone who was a delight to talk with, gang, I met Rodney Barnes. Got my Philadelphia issue number 2 signed. I was gonna get my issue number 1 signed, and I knew I was gonna do it all week. Pulled it out of the long box. I got one of those spine rolls on it. I don't know why. But it's something that I should have just gotten pressed a long time ago, and then I could have gotten signed. And I'm sure someone's like, you could have gotten it signed and still pressed, and I don't know that stuff. So I just said, you know what? I'm getting my issue number 2 signed. I'm then going to get my issue number 1 pressed just to get the... I don't even think I'm going to grade it, but I just need to get it cleaned up a little bit. So I went with issue number 2 because I love this cover. Rodney Barnes was awesome to talk with. Took a picture with me. Talked about how I love watching him on his interviews with Dan and Jennifer when they bring him on. They've had Rodney on a lot to talk about Philadelphia and Nita Hall. And if you haven't watched any of their videos with interviews with him, highly recommend checking them out. That's probably one of the few reasons I haven't asked Rodney to be on my show, because I'm like, they just do such a good job. What am I gonna? How am I gonna make it better than them? Go check out Comics Will Break Your Heart and Comic Chop News. I'll make the link in the video description of this video. Dan's correct link. I think it's Comic Chop News, but really cool. And then we got The Mandalorian, issue number 1. We got Rodney Barnes signed it. Let's go. We've got Carl Story signed it. Let's go. And then we've got George Gianti signed it. This just turned out really cool. They all 3 were at the con. To get all 3 to sign that, gang, that looks good. We'll go with this one. This is a 9.8. It's done. It's a Deadpool issue number 1. This is, again, the cover is done by Raphael Albuquerque. It's a GalaxyCon edition, and really funny. You got Deadpool here, who's doing some shenanigans on the cover, and he's taking some shots at the X-Men collectors, and I like it. So, yeah, bought the X-Men books, and now we're showing off some salt there. So it was cool. Again, probably not a super expensive book, which is fine, but I liked it. I liked the GalaxyCon variant cover. It was an exclusive. Had to get it. I didn't have to get it. I wanted to get it, so I got it. And last but not least, we got a 9.8 of All-Star Batman and Robin, issue number 10. This is done by Frank Miller. This is that recalled cover because they had some obscene language in one of the word bubbles, and they put a black bar over to cover it up, but you could read through the black bar, and so you could still read what it was. Again, not a super expensive book. It's just a fun book to have in the collection, the recalled book like that. And gang, I think they paid like half off for this. Like, they're like, oh, you can get it for half off. I'm like, okay. Like, I think $35 or something for this. I'm like, what I would cost to slab this? Of course I'm going to get it. Even if I don't like it. Like, but 9.8. Gang. Let me know what was your favorite thing in this video that I picked up. Who was one of the artists and creators I met that you were like, I would love to meet them sometime. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you, as always, for watching. And if you're new, make sure you guys subscribe, like that video, tell your friends. And as always, hopefully you can find some time to curl up, grab a book, and nerd out. Peace.